questions?
Just a quick thought, not a question, but just a very quick comment. And first, thank you. Really, just superb presentations. Really, as you said, covers the gamut of really the ag and food sciences. Just want to say, the community that our organization, our institution, NIFA, National Institute of Food and Agriculture, reached out to. It's all these universities, particularly land-grant universities, but other universities as well. And there are faculty that cover all of those different topics, research and education, but particularly those folks involved in extension all throughout the country, because they so much, this is really what they do. So we think with the extension folks out there, extension professionals and extension specialists, and then all of the faculty involved in research and education. And then we have the PhD students who are very well trained as well. So we're thinking that there's quite a community out there of people. And then within our own organization here within NIFA, there's so many highly qualified people that could be interested as well. So just thanks.
We do have a question asking about graduate students being eligible to participate and can PhD students participate? Yes.
Yes.
A wordless yes. So if you're a graduate student or a PhD student, definitely participate. There's also a question about language requirements for the different volunteer positions. Is there anything in specific that people need to know about for language requirements?
So if I can just answer real quick, I know for ACDI-VOCA, we have a specific program for master's and PhD students. So we design assignments specifically with them in mind. They tend to be a little bit longer term because we want them to get the experience in the field. So they're traditionally about 3 months in length. As far as language, it's not usually a requirement. I know for us specifically, we do require it for assignments in Latin America. So that those assignments we require Spanish speakers. But I can't speak for everyone else.
Generally, I would say it's not a requirement. Translation will be provided by the field staff in the country.
Okay, so just basically, they'll find that out when the request is with the opportunity to apply.
Right.
Okay, so check that. And someone wants to know if language ability makes the applicant more successful.
Potentially,
It helps.
potentially, yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt.
I think it helps with connecting with the beneficiaries directly. But there's been successful assignments with volunteers who don't speak the language.
Yeah. Okay, so it has the potential for making an applicant more successful. Does prior experience in the country help the applicant?
Same sort of thing.
Same sort of
It's not required, but it can help definitely.
Okay, so
I would say too, like similar to that, one thing that can be beneficial is like for a lot of assignments, if it's an agriculture production assignment, sometimes the field office will prefer that, say, for example, someone has experience in tropical. For us personally in Latin America and the Caribbean, we might say that, like, if you've been to those countries and you've studied tropical agriculture, that might make you a stronger applicant.
okay.
And maybe within the U.S., folks that are in Florida, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, may have that.
Virgin Islands.
Virgin Islands, of course, yes, right there.
Oh, and we have a comment here. I have been a farmer-to-farmer volunteer several times. This is Bill Baran. And I think it's a great program. Are there or can there be more opportunities or assignments for couples or small groups? That's something I just want to throw back to you all implementing partners.
I'll let one of you guys answer that. But
And Jennifer and Gretchen, please just jump in.
I will say that I'm not sure what Bill's expertise is, but particularly for our institutional assessments that we have in West Africa, those often work well as a couple or team assignment.
And at ACDI-VOCA, we have sent team assignments as well. It depends on the topic, really, and what the two specialists do and how it complements each other. We're certainly open to discussing it. So if a volunteer has an idea, we're open to a conversation about it.
But that said, at the same time, we do try to keep it demand driven.
Absolutely.
So we're not going to send a couple because they want to travel together. They each need to bring their own skills to the table, and it needs to correspond with the needs of the field.
Sure. Yeah. So just to follow up on that, would that be also in the position description that people would be applying for the scope of work, that it's a team approach done, and that you would actually be trying to get a team together? I'm just asking because I haven't seen that kind of advertisement.
I've seen that before. Like, so I've received scopes of work from the field, and they'll put on the scope of work that, the scope of work is supposed to be attached with this other scope of work. And it's helpful to me so that I know that that's what I need to recruit for. But at the same time, too, we've had a different kind of example where it was organic coffee production and then organic coffee marketing that wasn't really intended that two people went together, but we had a father and son that could do both at the same time, and it just worked out well.
Okay, so it depends.
It depends. And we've had assignments, for example, where husband and wife went out. The husband is a specialist in agriculture, and his wife was a nutrition specialist. And we did them on, we sent them on a partner team assignment, and it worked out fabulously.
And then here's another question. Is there ever a chance to work with an in-country organization to collectively create the scope of work catered toward a particular expert?
Yep. Yeah, there are. I think that means like a planning assignment to work with host organizations. Yes, there are opportunities for that.
Okay. Would they, and who would they need to touch base with to, whoever is, if I understand from the person who's written this question, they would then work with that and submit it to the farmer-to-farmer website page as a demand? I mean, how's that work?
I mean, I guess instead of looking for a specific assignment, there might be one related to that, but if not, apply through the farmer-to-farmer volunteer interest form, state specifically that you could be interested in planning process, or I don't know exactly how you guys would word it, but
anybody else want to contribute to a response there? The other question is, how often does one need to submit their credential form to the farmer-to-farmer.org volunteer database? Should it be once? Is it annually? What's the frequency of updating that you would suggest?
So as we've just started our new 5-year cycle, I would say once, but if your skills change or your availability changes, then you could update it.
Especially if you've received some kind of technical training or certification that could make you more competitive or more marketable for a computer assignment you're very interested in. We're always interested in seeing career development, professional development, and how we can really help those folks.
And I'm not really sure. I know I've had conversation with you all about how many assignments you're actually looking for on a yearly basis. Throw that out there because it's not a small number.
It varies.
It varies. Yeah. But overall, on average, how many assignments do you solicit in a year?
It's about 115
A year?
a year.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking
Between all of
About
us,
100.
between everyone.
Oh, between everyone.
Oh.
Okay. Oh.
1,000?
Maybe not 1,000. It's pretty high up in that.
Yeah.
Okay, somewhere over 500 applications.
Yes,
So you're looking for a lot of people.
Yes, we are. Yes.
So in the hundreds, you would deploy over a year.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just checking, Gretchen and Jennifer, you're nodding head saying yes.
And that's collectively hundreds.
Yes. And then a question, is there ever opportunity to have multiple visits to the same organization? Yes. And the nods here in the room are yes. So
Encouraged.
it's encouraged.
Yes.
I know personally I've spoken to one extension agent who's actually had 3 assignments that with the same organization with you, and has had that opportunity just building upon their skill set. And then others who have reached out from county offices in states where they've said farmer-to-farmer volunteers, and then they, of course, let us know here at NIFA that they were participating, which is kind of cool. So we don't always hear about it. So why we were looking forward to this opportunity is just to share the wealth of information and the opportunities. Other questions there? How about in the room?
I'll ask a question about the folks that are working in Latin America, Guatemala, Honduras. Who was that? Here. So are there any issues with the Trump administration policies about immigration that are impacting your all's ability to recruit or provide service?
We can let
Yes.
So ability to recruit at this point, no. But there is a possibility that we may have to go to another country. It depends on what our government tells us. But for right now, we're still going in El Salvador and Honduras, working with those coffee producers. So yeah.
Thank you.
And I just also want to acknowledge that we here at the Center for International Programs have worked with the federal counterpart who actually funds the Farmer to Farmer program through USDA. And I know that John Peters is on, as well as Aaron Bays and Siobhan Leonard. But John's actually listening in, so in case anyone has any questions, we can direct them to him as well. But I want to thank you all. Are there questions? As we're nearing almost the hour for lunch here in DC.
If I could just say one of those small point, again, joining with you in a thank you, is many of the universities that we work with, faculty and researchers, educators, and extension people, are always looking for ways to bring an international dimension into their programs and looking for how they can be more globally engaged. And this, of course, is really a wonderful opportunity. So hopefully, more of the folks we have contact with by viewing this webinar will contact you, and hopefully you'll have an even larger reservoir of qualified volunteers to do the good work that you're doing.
Please do spread the word, most of our volunteers, maybe most, I don't know, word spreads, they tell one person, you refer somebody else, So let everyone know. And just a little plug that if by any chance you're interested in implementing your own small farmer-to-farmer program through your organization or institution, that our request for applications is currently open, which you can find out more about on farmer-to-farmer.org.
Great. Well, we want to just thank you all, and we're getting lots of thank yous, kudos to you all for the information and everything. And people are noting that there are former volunteers with ACDI-VOCA and Land Lakes International, so you got a fan club out there. Really cool.
There's a point where
yeah, one thing that I do want to make sure everyone understands is because this is a volunteer opportunity, we understand that you all have taken the time out of your busy schedules, whether you're working or retired, and we do cover the expenses associated with this assignment. So I know that can be very helpful to people in terms of helping them decide whether or not they want to volunteer. So translating costs, transportation, accommodations, we do cover those things.
Great to know.
Yeah,
We'll even arrange your flights.
Yeah.
We'll help you with visas.
Right, that's probably very important.
We'll take a lot of the stress out.
Yeah, that's a very important point.
Yeah.
Yes.
You heard it. They take care of a lot of the logistics.
That's right.
All of it. And again, basically funding your travel to the country and your stay in the country. Right?
We have a wonderful field staff that will greet you at the airport and, be with you and provide support throughout the assignment. So,
Well, thank
no
you all for your participation remotely, to Gretchen and Jennifer for sharing remotely, and we appreciate your involvement. For those of you all in the room, it's been great to have this webinar. We have taped it so that we can keep a record of this and share it with others who couldn't be physically with us either in person or remotely. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.